Laying out points. In this video, I'm going to talk about creating a list or not creating a list. You have a little bit of flexibility in the software, and what I mean by that is once I get the instrument set up, if I want to simply select the point and start laying out, I can do that. For example, if I go to Measure and Layout, all I have to do is select on a point, and my dimensions will update, and I can then go ahead and start laying those points out. Again, back and left and right and so on. I can pick a different point as well. That's one way I can do it, and it will default to whatever your settings are. For example, if I want to go to the closest point or the next numerical point, depending on how I have my settings, that's what will happen. But if I want to be a little bit more precise than this, and I want to build a list of points that I want to specifically lay out, one of the things I can utilize is the filter button. And if I click on that, what it does is it gives me some options down here. Now I can filter some points, I can clear some points out, and I can just go back to plain old layout. And in this button, what I want to do is I want to filter some points. So let's say, for example, I go to my filter and any name that contains, and I've got some options here as well, or a description that contains, or a layer, a specific layer, I can utilize those options. So for example, if I want a name that contains anything with HNG, I can say add, and it says 50 points have been added and 0 points have been removed. And now when I come back out here, I've got a list of all of my hangers that are now available to lay out. Now I can keep adding to this list if I choose to do so. So I'll go back into the filter, and a name that contains, for example, SLV for a sleeve, I can say add. 3 points have been added, 0 removed. And now down at the bottom of my list, there's my sleeves. Now keep in mind, no matter how these appear in the list, it's always going to default to next or nearest when you're laying the points out. I can go back to the filter, and maybe I don't want to go with a name. I can't remember what I named something, but I know that it's on a specific layer. And so if I scroll through here, I can see that maybe anything on the E equipment pad, for example, I want to add. So that added 12 additional points. Okay, so you've got some options when it comes to filtration. Another way that you can add a bunch of points is, let's say I want to lay out all the hangers, all the pads, and all the sleeves, for example, but maybe I also want to lay out everything in this area up here. I can simply just use the window pick and grab all of those points, and again, we'll add those to the list as well. So you've got several options when it comes to building a list of points. So why is this important? Well, because there's areas on the job site that you can't always get to because the deck isn't down, or it's a safety concern that you can't go past a rope, or maybe you can lay out the hangers because they've been coordinated, but the sleeves have not been coordinated, so you don't want to lay those out just yet until the BIM model has been coordinated. So again, some layout techniques, some different ways that you can either build a list, or you can simply just scrap the whole list, just go to layout. And notice now too, because I've got 0 remaining, I'm still in my filter, all of my points gray out until I get out of my filter button, and then I can simply say I want to go with this point right here. It updates my directions. So again, options for building a list, not building a list, it's really up to the operator.